From the beautiful shores of Hawaii to the plains of Texas, we've got you covered. Bowl predictions next on Heisman Talk. You're watching Heisman Talk. Here's your host, the Nate Dogg.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Heisman Talk. Today is the beginning of the holiday season. For me, that is bowl season. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand most of these bowl games are meaningless to y'all, but keep in mind, it's just more college football to watch. So, from the coast of Hawaii to the plains of Texas, we got them all. So, let's jump right into it. First game off is going to be the Bahamas Bowl, obviously in the Bahamas. That one kicked off in about 5 minutes as I'm making this video, very last minute. That one is between Buffalo and Charlotte. Now, keep in mind, both teams are 7-5, coming off of exciting seasons for both of them. Charlotte, a newer program to the FBS, so it's really impressive to see them jump up in between the lines and get their name out there in a bowl game. What it really boils down to is who wants this game more. Buffalo is favored by 6.5, but both teams are going to be excited to be there and be ready to play come game time in about 3 minutes. So once this video is released, you will be watching that game probably on your TV. I know I will. Some things to remember. This is Will Healy, I believe is how you pronounce it. This is his first season as head coach of Charlotte, and he's brought them to a 7-5 record in a bowl game. So congratulations to him. He deserves it. I hope they give him an extension. I think he's a great coach, and I think he's going to do great things there. He's led his team to the best record in school history. I mean, that's awesome. And they've won 5 straight. Charlotte has. And the key player to look out for is Alex Highsmith. This guy is a powerful defensive end for Charlotte. He made third-team All-American. So, not being in a Power 5 conference, that's really impressive to me. That really stood out to me. And the fact that he's probably going to go in the first 3 or 4 rounds of the NFL draft is something to look out for. So watch for this guy to have a big day. My prediction is that Charlotte will come out on top by 7. So then we go out west to the Frisco Bowl in Frisco, Texas. This game is not the most interesting game, not the most fun game to watch, but still 2 great teams. Utah State versus Kent State. Utah State's 7-5. They're coming off of a loss to BYU, which is really unfortunate for them. Something to keep in mind that they'll probably be wanting to get revenge and come out with a win. But also, 3 players recently got cited, including their starting quarterback for marijuana possession. You wonder if this is going to play into the game any suspensions, or also if it's going to hurt the draft stock of Jordan Love, the starting quarterback who's favored to go in the NFL draft. Utah State's favored in this game 5.5, but look out for Kent State to come out strong. They're a 6-6 team, but they're coming off a 3-game winning streak. Quarterback Dustin Crum only has 2 interceptions on the season, which is second in the FBS, only behind the one and only Justin Fields for Ohio State. So you look at those stats and you think, wow, this could be a really good game, and hopefully it is. Utah State's 6-2 in their conference, in Mountain West Conference, so that's something to keep your eye out on, meaning when they face Power 5 conference teams, they're not that great, but when they play up to their competition, which I believe Kent State is, they perform really well. So look out for Utah State to do good in this game. Kent State has never won a bowl game, so they're going to be highly motivated as well. That coach is going to have them ready to win. My prediction, Utah State comes out on top by a field goal. Then we go to the New Mexico Bowl in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This one is being played between Central Michigan and San Diego State, so a little bit of both sides of the world. You got one team from the warm, one team from the cold. San Diego State, no pun intended, comes off of a 9-3 season, so they come off of a very warm season. Central Michigan's 8-5 coming into this game, coming off of a loss to Miami, Ohio in the MAC Conference Championship. So you look for Central Michigan to have a big game. San Diego State's favored by 3.5 right now. A key player to watch out for is Central Michigan quarterback Dormandy. That's his last name. I forget his first name, and I apologize. But this kid was highly recruited out of high school, out of Boerne, Texas. I actually got to watch him play one game in high school, which was pretty cool. Ended up signing with Tennessee. Didn't do so well. Ended up transferring a few times from Houston and ended up landing at Central Michigan, and now he's got a chance to win a bowl game. So look for him to have a big day tomorrow or today. I forget when it is. My prediction is that San Diego State comes out on top by 14. I don't think it's going to be that close. Dormandy turns the ball over a lot, and I think that's going to hurt Michigan State in the long run. So then we head back to the beach, down to the Cure Bowl in Orlando, Florida. This one's being played between Liberty and Georgia Southern. Although both teams are 7-5, I think the difference maker in this game is Hugh Freeze. If y'all remember correctly, he was the head coach at Ole Miss before getting basically fired, asked to leave after allegations of all that other stuff that went out that I won't talk about. However, he's done an incredible job with Liberty, bringing them to a bowl game in their first 3 years in the FBS. So congratulations to Hugh Freeze, highest paid coach in a non-Power 5 conference, I believe. So really great job by him and his coaching staff. Look for Liberty to win this game big. Georgia Southern's favored by 5, by the way. So then we head down south, further south to Boca Raton in the Boca Raton Bowl. This one is a home game for FAU. It's being played between SMU and FAU, yet SMU is favored by 3. SMU comes off of one of its most impressive seasons in school history, going 10-2. Should have gone 11-1, possibly undefeated. Unfortunately, they lost to Memphis in a big night game on college football Saturday a few weeks back. But this gives them a chance to finish off the season strong and go 11-2. FAU with a great season too with Lane Kiffin, who's now at Ole Miss. He will not be coaching in the bowl game, but FAU comes off of a 10-3 season, and you look for them to win the game big. It'll be interesting to see who wants to win this more. Obviously, with one team losing their head coach and another for pride. SMU is obviously very frustrated right now. So I think SMU is going to come out on top, 7 points. The key player in this game is Shane Buechele, quarterback of SMU. This kid has a high motor. If you remember correctly, he was the quarterback at Texas before being taken over by Sam Ehlinger. And now he has a chance to lead his team to victory in the Boca Raton Bowl. Then we head to Montgomery, Alabama, and the Cramton Bowl. Now, this one is probably one of the biggest jokes games on the list as far as bowl rankings go. But at the same time, this game has meant a lot in the past 5 years. In fact, all games in the past 5 years have been decided by 5 points or fewer, including one of them being Arkansas State in 2017, which they lost. However, this is their year for redemption. They come back again to play FIU. This is the only 5th bowl appearance for Arkansas State. My prediction is that Arkansas State will win this game easily, even though they're only favored by 2.5. I expect them to win by at least 7.5 to 10 points. The biggest reason being their head coach Blake Anderson. If you don't know the backstory on this guy, he recently lost his wife to breast cancer back in early July, I believe, within the summer months. Ends up coming back this season to coach. Just a super strong guy, super strong man, and super inspiring to all of us in college football. I really hope that the team rallies around him and is able to get a bowl win for this guy and this program. I think they deserve it. So then we head to the gambling city, Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Las Vegas Bowl. This game's going to be played between Boise State and Washington. Obviously, Washington Huskies come off of a disappointing season, going 7-5. They're expected to be in the top 2 in the Pac-12, and it just didn't pan out for them. Quarterback Jacob Eason did not have the year that he wanted to have, and hopefully he can come out this game and have a huge game. He's got the arm talent, the arm strength. We'll see what happens. Boise State feels disrespected. They come off of a 12-1 season. Obviously, they're disappointed being left out of the Cotton Bowl to Memphis. So they feel disrespected. Look out for them to have a big game as well. Obviously, Boise State has a history of trick plays. So because of that, I think although Jacob Eason has a huge game for Washington, I think Boise State comes out of this one with their little razzle-dazzle trick plays. Boise State wins by 14. Then we head down to New Orleans and the New Orleans Bowl. Now, this game is going to be really fun to watch. Obviously, New Orleans is a great city to visit. If you haven't been, definitely go. Definitely check it out. Great atmosphere. This game is being played between Appalachian State and UAB. Appalachian State comes off of one of its best seasons in school history, going 12-1, only losing to, I forget who they lose to, but they had some impressive wins along the way. They beat South Carolina and North Carolina. I think that's the difference maker in this game, is just their talent level. They're favored by 16.5. It's not even going to be close. UAB comes in with a 9-4 record. Got to tip my cap to UAB, though. Programs canceled 3 years ago, and they come back, and now they're in another bowl game. I think this is going to be a story to watch in the next few years. I think it's going to be on East 60. One of the greatest stories in college football history, just the way the turnaround of that program and what that coach has done for them. It's amazing. But, yeah, I think App State's too strong for them talent-wise. And I think App State comes out with a win with their interim coach, Sean Clark. I think he's going to have a big day. Look for App State to win by at least 20. Then we head back down to the beach to Tampa, Florida in the Gasparilla Bowl. This one is being played between UCF and Marshall. Obviously, UCF has the advantage in this one, only being within 4 hours of the stadium. Also, Marshall used to playing in the cold, so you got to think cramping will have a factor in this game as well. UCF is favored by 17.5. Although UCF hasn't performed well in past bowl games. UCF comes off of a 9-3 season, but they're 1-3 in their last 4 bowl games. They beat Auburn 2 years ago in the Chick-fil-A Bowl, and everyone made a huge deal about it. Everyone's like, oh, they can beat an SEC team, but let's be real. Auburn was not wanting to be there to play that game. They were coming off of a disappointing loss to Georgia. Then UCF comes out the next year and the year after, and they get smacked. So, with that being said, Marshall, on the other hand, has been very impressive in bowl games. They're 6-0 in bowl games, and I think they're going to be 7-0 after this game. Even though UCF's favored by 17.5, Marshall performs better in bowl games, so look for them to have a big day and come out with a win on this bowl game in Tampa. So in our final game on the 23rd, I believe at 8 p.m., this one will be the Hawaii Bowl between Hawaii and BYU. Obviously, Hawaii playing a home game in its home state. A lot of pride in this. A lot of fans will show out. But also, BYU fans have known about this for a while. BYU was notified that they would be in this bowl game if they became bowl eligible. I don't know why that is. I just found that out actually a few days ago after doing my research, but very interesting. So it seems like Hawaii and BYU are basically in the bowl game every year as long as they are bowl eligible. BYU comes off of a 7-5 season, and Hawaii has an impressive season going 9-5. This is the third time in 4 years that Hawaii's played in the Hawaii Bowl, so obviously this means a lot to them, to their culture, to the home state of Hawaii. So look for Hawaii to come out big in this one. BYU is favored by 1.5, but I would not be surprised if Hawaii wins by a 13 margin. So, with that being said, my prediction is that Hawaii wins this because of home field advantage and lack of run game by BYU. BYU has not been able to run the ball on anyone this year, and that's mostly why they've lost this game. When you can't run the ball, you can't run play action, and you have to start throwing the ball when you're down by 14, and it just becomes a disaster. So thank you again for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, if you're new here, subscribe. Give this video a big thumbs up, and I will see y'all next Thursday for the upcoming bowl predictions for the college playoffs and some of the bigger bowl games. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will see you next Thursday. This is Nate Dogg signing off.
You've been watching Heisman Talk. Be sure to tune in next Thursday for playoff predictions.